Today, we are going to discuss another important topic of history, which is Cold War. What is Cold War and why it is very much important in international relations? So, today we will discuss the introduction of the Cold War, which countries were included, what were the results, what were the objectives of the Cold War. Everything will be discussed in this video. Let's start with our today's video. Now, Cold War is a period in which there is no war, but also there is no peace. Cold War started on 12 March 1947 till December 26, 1991. Cold War was a period of political tension and military rivalry between two main powers at that time, which were USA, United States of America, and USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR. Now, this Cold War started just after the 2 years of World War II. It started in 1945 and continued till early 1990s. This war lasted for 4 decades, mean 40 years. Now, this Cold War between USA and USSR was characterized by ideological, political, and economic competition rather than direct armed conflict. There was no direct war, but ideology, politics, and economic competition was there. Now, every country adapts a policy which strengthened itself and weakened the other one. After the atomic bomb attack of USA to Japan, when Japan surrendered in 1945, Americans were very excited. They felt as the most powerful nation in the world with most powerful navy and army. However, soon there was a rise of tension between USA and USSR. Early on, when they have to fight against Hitler, now Joseph Stalin and Truman, they both were together against Hitler, but later on they both opposes each other. Why? Because of communism versus capitalist. Now these two are very much different terms. Now one country supports communism, one main power support communism, and other main power was supporting capitalist movement. Now, this caused a huge tension between both these main powers. Now, capitalism was supported by USA, in which the people are allowed to have private ownership of the business. They can take and manage their products according to supply and demand. Wealth is distributed based on individual effort and market forces. There was no or minimal government intervention, and class distinction was there. While communism, which was supported by USSR, in which the state or community ownership of resources and businesses, now command economy with centralized planning, wealth is distributed based on the needs and aim for the classless society. Now, these two countries were against each other, so they were playing proxy wars. Now, proxy wars are the wars in which the countries or the main powers are not themselves included, but they played very important role. Now, the war in Vietnam and Afghanistan, in which USSR and USA both were included, when one support, other opposes. What were the main objectives of the Cold War? Number one, to spread their ideology. They want, both countries, both main power want that their ideologies will be spreaded. Number two, getting hold of resources in the Middle East. They want to hold all the resources of the Middle East. Number three, their influence. And number four, unipolarity. Because at that time, after World War II, two main powers were there, USA and USSR. So, unipolarity means one single power. So, they want one single power. Now, what were the main causes of the Cold War? Number one is ideological difference. The United States represented liberal democracy along with capitalism, while Soviet Union advocated for communism and a planned economy. These different ideologies form the basis of conflict and competition. Number two is post-World War II power struggle. The aftermath of World War II left United States and Soviet Union as two dominant superpowers. The desire to expand their spheres of influence and gain strategic advantage fueled tensions. Number three, geopolitical factors. Now, control over Eastern Europe and the establishment of Soviet aligned communist governments in the countries like Poland and Hungary were the main reasons that concerned USA because USSR was increasing its influence. Number four, nuclear arm race. These both countries were developing their own strong nuclear weapons, which was dangerous because they can be used in the war. There were other multiple reasons like arm races, like USSR fear of atomic bomb, USSR fear of Americans attack, like USSR dislike capitalism, USA dislike communism, many others. Key events. Number 1, Truman Doctrine. Now, in this speech to the Congress, US President Harry S. Truman is basically requesting people to support their capitalist movement. Number 2 is the martial law. Martial law was a plan by USA in which they were supporting war-torn countries and they were supporting supply so they may support their capitalist movement. Number 3 is Berlin blockade and airlift. So this was one of the main events of the Cold War. After World War II, Germany was divided into four zones. One was ruled by France, one was by Soviet Union, one America, and one portion by United Kingdom. So now Western allies want to rebuild Germany and Berlin into a strong democratic region. But Soviet Union closes all the ways in which the supply was coming to the people. So they were supplying things to the people by air. And nearly 2.5 million people faced starvation in these 11 months. NATO was also formed in 1949, which is known as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was established as a military alliance between United States, Canada, and several other European countries. Its aim was to provide security. Next is the Korean War, which occurred between 1950 to 1953. Next is Cuban Missile Crisis, when both countries were ranging their missiles to each other. So this was also the main event of the Cold War. If you like my video till now, please subscribe my channel Laiba's English Corner for further English grammatical and other educational videos. Seventh point is space race. Soviet Union first launched Sputnik in 1957 and sent to space. After this, space race begins and USA mission was to land a man on the moon, which was achieved with Apollo 11 mission in 1969. Now, what were the results of this Cold War? Number 1, in 1990, Germany unified again. The Berlin Wall, which was the most visible symbol of the decades long Cold War, was finally destroyed. Number 2, Soviet Union collapsed and 15 new states emerged from that Soviet Union. So USA was a clear winner of this Cold War. So this was all from my side. In our today's video, we have discussed Cold War, impacts, results, introduction, and many other things. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel, Laiba's English Corner, for further English grammatical and other educational videos. Thank you so much.